In the darkness overhead, the slow and steady turn of gears seems so close you can almost see them. Eyes shut, she tries to picture them in a giant pastel tapestry floating just a few inches beyond where she can reach. Faint pinks and purples and blues. The occasional green just because that seems like a good adventuring color. She wonders if it'll catch on, counting cogs instead of sheep. She thinks maybe, if she wins tomorrow. The thought spurs another pang of anxiety, another quiet huff of frustration, and she finally gives up on pretending to be asleep. She should be asleep. She has to be asleep. She knows that, but the effort of trying is starting to feel more like a drain than actually sleeping, so... One arm still tucked behind her head, she holds her hand out in front of her face and concentrates until the thin, pale lines running across her fingers, her wrist, the back of her hand start to glow violet. "Hey, Parda," she whispers, then waits to make sure she isn't waking anyone else. "Okay, so I can do things now. Father Kite says it's in my blood, from my other family, I mean, but I was sort of thinking since we're out here, where she found me. Well, I was thinking maybe if everything tomorrow goes well and we win, then maybe I can find out more. I hope it goes well. I mean, it will. I was excited at first because, everyone else can do such cool things, and I want to be able to help too. And this is one thing I know how to do. I can do this. I can fight. I know how to fight. I don't know if I know how to fight a troll, but I can learn, or I can try. It's weird, I'm not scared of losing. I'm scared of what happens after. Anyway, I'm still thinking of you. I miss you. Wish me luck." This time when she falls asleep, she imagines fireworks behind her eyelids. Still pinks and purples. But instead of a giant clockwork gear, she sees an iron fist, a glittering dagger, and a teeny tiny neon gun wrapped in a ribbon. This is Pod Against the Machine.
Pod Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pod Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play podcast where teens fight giant indestructible monsters for the entertainment of others, and all of the adults are fine with that. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
Hello, Sam.
Hello. Yeah, Jero has a terrifying monster that he's added to the podcast today.
No, Izzy was just being mean to you.
Oh, I'm the terrifying monster?
Yeah, no, we're talking about the GM.
Sure, I mean, that's a given.
I mean, who put this teen in this precarious position around so many uncaring adults? And an ogre.
It's a troll.
Wasn't there an ogre, too? I thought there was both. Or no, it was Etten.
Yeah, there was an ogrekin before, but he's dead.
Ah, troll. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, troll, so much more dangerous.
Gunshot victim, or whatever his name was a ogrekin.
Gun shy. I like that you called him gunshot victim. Now we
get
to face somebody as docile sounding as Hellskarg.
Well, when last we left our heroes, they had negotiated with a goblin named Jimmy Fame in order to get a one-on-one fight, one-on-one non-lethal fight between Kara and Hellskarg the Troll for the right to a meeting with Kulgara, the leader of the Lords of Rust. Then they went back to Dinvaya's Clockwork Temple and tried to figure out how on earth Gara was going to fight a troll by herself. That's pretty much where we are now. Everybody slept a night, I believe, and the fight is scheduled for this evening, right around prime time, because obviously it's a big fight. And you've got the day in front of you, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the vibe on the ground, I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but I feel like the vibe on the ground is very war room for Brixby. Like, from the moment we get up, I'm like an FBI personal trainer, an NFL personal trainer, like, just inches from Kira's face from the moment they wake up there or open their eyes. And I'm like, all right, now drink 8 eggs right now and run around in a circle. And like, when you're done throwing up, we'll do the real stuff. But yeah, he's really like on it from the get. And what that looks like is maybe waking up kind of early, conferring with Vargas about borrowing his book, to do a little bit of study.
Yeah. And I think Vargas will actually, when he approaches him, say, yes, about that. I had rather arrogantly claimed yesterday that I could give Kira the long arm ability as I guess you call it a buff. But unfortunately, I have discovered after further study that I cannot cast this spell on others. But perhaps if you do take a look at my spellbook as you have requested, you can scribe a scroll of it for her.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't discount your participation in this, junk punch. Like, this is still your buff. I'm just helping you do it a bit. As he kind of leafs through what I always just imagine is like kind of burnt, battered, slightly eroded pages with the scratchy Osirian writing and everything else that's in it that just kind of immediately assaults and overwhelms the senses when you first look at it. A little bit like taking in Vargas's arm as well.
Like I kind of said before, like the newest stuff in it that still, like, other than like what he's written, still looks like it's like decades old is Osirian, but there's like writing in like half a dozen languages. Like, some of it is so faded that you can't even read it. Like, it probably doesn't look like a typical wizard spellbook where it's like just their writing in code. Like, this is old, and it's probably just like super confusing to look at.
And I find that's really interesting for Brixby, because obviously as I've kind of expressed before, a lot of his previous knowledge, specifically in Drawfin, comes from those pages that he keeps in a scroll pouch, which I assume he's been sharing with the folks that have been interested in learning that language potentially down the line. So, I mean, I think it's really great kind of sharing in between all of us this sort of weird esoteric information that has traveled so far and wound up in our hands, and now we get to share it. So, with that, he hunkers down and begins to do a little bit of studying. For the folks at home, I'm just copying out Longarm into my book, which is going to take an hour because it's a level 1 spell. And then I'm going to spend the next 2 hours scribing a scroll of it. The only one that I can obviously do for the day.
I think for her part, Kira is, for once, up early, but is going to pretend to not be awake because she just has had the sudden realization, like, oh, hey, I signed up to fight a troll. I wonder if that's going to, like, backfire in any way. So as per usual, she's, in her bedroll with her longsword, or greatsword, as you do, which is just the safest way to sleep in case a bad guy tries to get you. And laying there as still as she can, pretending to sleep. I cannot imagine it's a great deception because, as previously discussed, I did not undertaking perform, act, comedy, or dance. But what are you going to do? Just kind of reflecting. It's been a combination of excitement and, like, what did I do? Why did I agree to do this? If I mess this up, everything falls apart. And I think some part of her is very much like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I thought adventuring would be like. I'm going to go and stab a troll, and everyone's going to be my friend afterward. And the other half of her is like, if I mess this up, like, I fully let my friends down. This is why I'm here. So if I can't do this, like, what happens then? Do I have to leave? Do I have to go home? Or will I just die? I also just don't think the die possibility has really entered her mind, primarily because she's a kid. But also because there's this inherent trust. Like, no, that's not going to happen. We've been through all of these things together. Troll can't kill me. I've got great friends that I hope I don't horrendously upset and or disappoint. So she's kind of stewing in that. I mean, potentially drinking eggs, but mostly stewing.
I'm drinking egg stew.
That's custard.
let's just split the difference and call it egg yogurt. Come on. Oops, all yolks.
The shell really adds a lot with the crunch, though.
No, that is true. Yeah. No,
The texture is all the difference.
Maybe actually during that time that I have Vargas's book, maybe Brixby will be like, hey, if anybody wants to take a look at this, I've kind of worked it out. I've got a little bit more notes in the margins. He's probably pulled it out once or twice, but he's just going to put down his like Androphin translations that he's been working on. Be very careful. The vellum is old. It'll crumble if you bend it at all. So, kind of puts it down with museum-esque care before returning to his spellbook.
Vargas immediately grabs it and dog ears it.
The disrespect.
Starts flipping through everything. Folds the front half of one page down to read
Rips
the one
off the
behind it
cover.
instead of moving it behind.
Oh my god. As a quick aside, I lived with someone who would bend the front
Why?
page of the book behind the back page of the book and each successive page after that, and I would just sit across from them just being like, oh no. It sent
Books are
chills up my
single-use
spine.
items.
It's a
You can read
consumable.
it again later, but it needs a spine.
That's the kind of thing that should have a fine or possibly jail time. But joking aside, he will take a look at some of the pages along with anybody else that wants to look at it, but he's always been interested in language, so he's definitely going to be looking at that and looking it over.
Yeah, Asher would happily look as well.
I think, Dinvaya comes out of her room, and goes into her workshop, and she's been keeping pretty quiet through most of this, but she will, at one point in the morning, at least emerge and say, if your armor is not already magical, I can provide you with some reinforcement there to protect you from the troll. It's not a ton, but it should last quite a while, at least.
Kira on the floor, tentatively opens one eye and is like, oh, yeah, no, it's not really good. Okay, this is a fun question. How does one know if one's armor is magical? I picked this up a while ago, and it is +1. Does that make it? Is that great? Excellent.
+1 is magic.
Kira goes back to sleep.
Yeah. Well, she can cast Magic Vestment on you, which will make your armor temporarily +2 armor. That's one more armor class.
I believe she said she went back to
Respect to the RP, Sam.
sleep. Clearly does not want the help of the clan.
So never mind. She will not be
Okay,
doing
so
that.
hang on, I lied. It's masterwork chainmail, not +1. So can I do both of those things?
Oh, okay.
It'll
Yeah,
just
then-
make it +1.
That'll make it +2.
Oh, it'll still make it +2? Oh, nice. That's even better. I thought it just increased it by 1.
Magic Vestment will imbue a suit of armor or shield with an enhancement bonus of +1 per 4
And
caster
just to add to the
rolls.
great radio moment that I'm having, can I do that in Hero Lab? Be like, here's a vestment.
Yeah, if you go to adjust, spell adjustment, and then type in magic vestment, it should be there. Yep, it's in there.
Get used to that tab, because I have a feeling you're going to be in there quite a bit this episode.
Oh yeah. We should have
lot of
probably
sense.
preloaded
Oops.
all these buffs into your hero lab. That's going to be a fun 5 minutes of editing this out where you're like, is that
Are
on?
you kidding me? That's Patreon tier stuff right
Ooh,
there.
Yeah.
AC is so high right now. Just enact the buffs.
I don't know if anything else happens in the 3 hours, but when Brixby's done, he's going to walk over to Kira. So I don't know. That would probably still put it at early afternoon or something like that, because I imagine we got up somewhat early. He looks down at the ground for a second, looks back up. Today's the day, eh?
Maybe I get. Well, yeah. No, yes, it definitely is because of how we probably can't fix this, right? And by fix, I mean just undo it, or reschedule. We can't do any of those things. So yes, the short answer is yes. And now I'm gonna stop talking. Hey,
He looks around. I want you to know
always. It's okay to be afraid. I know that we rely on you to be physical and sometimes more bastion against what comes to crush our tiny party. And you protect us quite well, but you're just a kid, barely younger than I am. I'm scared for you, but I promise you, this family, is behind you today.
Did not expect for that to turn into a Dominic Toretto moment at the end, but, you know, he just gets right into his Fast and the Furious car and drives away.
This found family that we've gathered, Torch, we're going to be behind you today in every way we possibly can. Here's the start. This is that trick that Junk Punch does to make his punches go even farther.
And I imagine it's just a drawing of, like, the boxing glove on the extendable thing on the front. Gives it to Kira.
We'll handle more of the time-sensitive ones as the time approaches, but just, if there's anything you need, you can still always be brave, even if you're scared. I think it's an important part of being brave.
Kira will take the scroll and look at it, and just kind of tuck it in a pocket, and then kind of laugh, drawing. She's like, "This was a pretty good drawing. I think that you can easily be swayed to the side of Joanne's at some point in the future." And then we'll like sort of like do the same thing, look down, ground back up. I'm not really afraid of. Well, I don't know. I've gotten hurt before, and I've been in fights before. That doesn't scare me. I don't want to mess this up because this is important to you and Vargas and Asher, and I know that if this doesn't go how it's supposed to go, then we can't fix this. And that's important. I don't think any of you will let anything happen to me, but if I can help it, then you won't have to worry about it, and we'll get through the thing, and we'll talk to the lady with the chainsaw, and then I'll get a chainsaw, and, you know, also answers.
Brix laughs at that one and says,
"You're never gonna let us down. Just your bravery, your stepping up. In that moment, when that incredibly well-dressed goblin approached us, it's just suave. Anyway, your bravery of just volunteering to get into this arena puts us on the radar of the people that we intend to wring the answers from. And you know, kid, if you fall in there, doesn't matter. We're going to do what we've done to every problem since we've run into Scrap Wall. If we fail inside that arena, we will aggro every single person as a party. It's just systematically kill everyone that isn't a Steelhawk or Red Tooth inside of. I don't know why I just morphed back into me. Nah, kid, you know that if it doesn't work this way, we're gonna find another way. We're capable.
Title screen.
Just like invincible, it just slams onto the screen, cuts off the word.
Kira. Asher will come up from behind her because he was the side, but then Brixby had said, "We're all behind you." So he moved to be behind Kira. And then he comes back around and says, "I don't have much I can offer you without being permitted to be present alongside you, but I thought this might come in handy." And he holds out one of the 6 gas grenades and says, "All you have to do is pull the pin, and within a few seconds, a cloud of gas will come out, and, well, I imagine it would be difficult to fire a pistol or anything like that if one's nauseated, at least effectively. And you've always shown rather strong fortitude, so I'm confident that it wouldn't affect you, perhaps it'll be of some aid. And I was also, this morning, as I was pondering the events of the day and communing with Caldera, I had this recollection of the magical spell I could impart upon you. And, well, being that I follow a goddess of luck, perhaps she might impart some of that upon you. And he's going to place a hand on your shoulder and cast a little spell called Lucky Number. And I am going to roll a d20, and whatever number comes up, whenever you roll this same number on whatever dice, whatever type of roll you're rolling, you can choose to either re-roll it or add a +2 luck bonus to the result. I'm rolling a die that typically rolls awful for me in hopes that it will be useful.
Yeah,
and you
the lower the better.
The lower the better, and just got to channel all the misfires into this one roll.
You get 2 or something, so no matter what die she's rolling, it comes
No,
up.
it's a 13.
You can boost to 13.
But lucky 13.
Yeah, lucky number 13.
And that could be the difference. Who knows? Even if that means you just add +2 when you roll a 13 to kind of bring it over the edge. It's only useful once, but it lasts the whole day. So when you roll one of those tweeners and it's a 13, yeah, +2. Or we roll it and tempt fate.
Yeah, if I reroll it, do I have to take the reroll?
That's a super good question.
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah,
you.
Usually you always have to take the second roll with most stuff that lets you reroll.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say in this particular one, which is odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I think usually if it's not like rolling twice at the same time, then you have to take whatever you re-roll.
Yeah, usually it like specifically says you have to take the second roll even if it's worse.
Yeah, so you just need to decide to use it before the success or failure of the original roll is known. But just a little bit of maybe luck. Of course, this die didn't roll a 1 for me.
Getting in what you wanted.
It did.
Well, one nice thing about maybe a 13 is if she thinks something is like a fairly low passing number, she could just do the take 2 and not worry about the reroll if she thinks
that
a
feels
15
likely.
will pass something.
Yeah, and it's 2 to the result, so if she, rolls a 13, it would make a total of a 20. Add 2, that makes it a 22. But
Oh yeah, that's right. It's
So many numbers.
I'm
A lot of
forgetting all
numbers.
the other numbers that you had to think.
there's
in the
so
game.
many numbers, guys. There's like a lot in this game. So I don't really know if that necessarily worked, but I'm not afraid, Kira Smith, that you have any odds of losing. I believe in you.
I don't think she says anything to Asher. I think she looks at the grenade and looks up at him and then just mild tackle hug. It doesn't quite work because they're the same height-ish, but there's some aggression behind it. She hugs him and then steps back and is like, I know. It'll be okay. I have this grenade and a spell. And also, after this, I was thinking we could try this other game that's less based on sarcasm and more based on chutes and ladders. Or whatever.
It sounds interesting. What's it called?
Let me get back to you on that. I have to check. Someone will know for sure.
Okay. Yes, well, I look forward to it.
It's Parcheesi.
He can already do half of it. I've seen the man shoot. I just haven't seen him ladder.
He usually jumps over the ladders instead.
As long as you continue to have the ability to fabricate more ammunition, I'm not averse to firing off some rounds for a good game.
Speaking of which, can I just have one? I'm gonna need it for later.
Certainly.
Mundane. It's going to be consumed by a spell. So Brixby will take it and thank you very much. Pop it in the belt pouch. Go back to getting his Cutman kit ready. I don't even know what our ringside positions exactly are, but I guess Asher would be the Cutman. I guess I have to be one of the aggressive trainers. Vargas has to be the really aggressive trainer, though. The, like, boxer that's just been beaten to a pulp and can barely form a sentence kind of trainer.
Speaking of Vargas, as he sees everybody else giving Kira their pep talks, he starts to head over to her, and he kind of stops and hesitates for a second, and in his mind, this kind of series of images or memories or something flashes by. The first one is this field at night with a bunch of small dark shapes in rags and shackles kind of collapsed on the ground around a well. The second one is what looks like a teenager just covered in blood with a sword coming out of his chest. And the final one is this tall, very muscular young Kelid holding a dripping sword, and he just kind of smiles crookedly, and he looks at Vargas, and he hears in his head,
I'm going to change the world, and you're going to help me.
and he kind of closes his eyes for a second, and he sighs, and he walks over to Kira, and he puts his arm on her shoulder and says, "This is going to be dangerous, but I have faith in you. I've seen many warriors your age, some even younger, do amazing things. Though I've also seen many of them not come back from their battles. But I've seen what you can do, and I trust you. When it gets closer to the time for the fight, I have something I think will help." And then he just kind of walks back away.
Thank you. I think you're good at fighting and fighting. Less so at words, but like, hey, we all have different strengths. I'm gonna just also turn and walk away, but with no real destination. So she takes like 3 steps and then stops.
Slips on the eggs. It's just... So, yeah, you guys just want to get involved in a bunch of random encounters and possibly use all of our consumable resources
Everyone
before
just shows up exhausted.
the battle tonight? Or should we just hang out inside?
Personally, I would go...
Eat Fruity Pebbles and watch Galarian Friends as we wait.
Vargas immediately wastes his one use of enlarged person to go scare some rat folks and reenact Godzilla.
Got time to go hunt some ghosts real quick. BRB.
So, everybody is taking a rather quiet day, getting ready for things, getting excited.
I
feel like the situation is pretty grim. I still feel like, I mean, we've all said our really positive stuff, but I still imagine it's got that, like, at best, a bunch of people waiting to take their SATs feeling. At worst, like, well, what is that sound on that airplane that we're on? But it's like somewhere in between those two, I feel like there's a palpable tension.
I don't know why.
I think we all know that this isn't going to be this easy. Like, it's not going to be a one-on-one fight and then we get to talk to the boss. Like, this is going to devolve into some kind of big brawl or something.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
I mean, Jimmy Fame.
Jimmy Fame, it's true. The word of Jimmy Fame is as good as gold.
He just wants to make everybody happy, Jimmy Fame.
Jimmy Fame.
It's true, Jimmy Fame. All right, so we head into the Scrapmasters Arena.
Why, yes.
Yeah, because if we don't start this fight before you go to bed, I'm not going to be okay.
How much glitter does Kira need to cover her weapons in to have them be like a, what is it, exotic or show weapon? Yes, that's it.
Oh, performance weapon? Or, no, what is that? Wow. Something like that. Well, yeah. Can I just sacrifice a 2nd level spell slot to cast Glitter Dust? Just we'll put it outside. We'll put it on some cardboard so it doesn't mess up the front
like
of the anything or whatever.
And one of those trifold boards like you use for science fair.
Of course.
So it gets a real wraparound effect. How long does the glitter and glitter dust last?
Ooh, I don't really know.
Some say the glitter is still there today. It's
yeah, I mean,
duration is rounds per level. So
yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, Kira does
It's true.
canonically have a bunch of glitter.
Yeah, I can't imagine making any of your
That's true.
weapons more
They're
shiny
very
or glittery
bedazzled,
than they
just-
already are.
That's what she does when Asher's repairing guns and Ragus and Brixby are doing spell things. She's just re-glittering all of her weapons.
Yeah, I like to think that like when you sharpen your weapon, you delicately take off every sticker and put it back in the book, and then sharpen the weapon
Yeah,
and
and
then
she's not
reapply it
wasteful.
all the way up from tang to the top. Of course.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I think that given the rather unique nature of Kira's aesthetic, we can call your greatsword performance for the purposes of this combat.
For sure.
Certainly draws
To
attention.
refer to Zach's spreadsheet about what exactly that means, but there's a +2 in there for performance combat checks at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so folks know when a weapon has a performance quality, that grants that person a +2 bonus on performance combat checks, which is the fun rule system we're going to be delving into today.
We can arrive early and just scope out the
I'm
crowd and
excited.
decide how hostile or unfriendly they are. Which they shouldn't be because we've made a lot of friends.
Yeah, what is this? I'm kind of interested as like maybe we're approaching. I mean, I'm sure you've got a flavorful text about it, but I'm kind of like trying to wrap my head around how many people are going to be here. Scrapwall is huge, but it also feels like it's kind of weirdly spacious. I don't know. So yeah, I will stop talking and let you introduce Thunderdome.
Well, I think as you approach this place, since we kind of fast travel to it, as Scrapwall itself it's very quiet today, as if everybody has somewhere to be. But Scrapmaster's Arena is a huge ring, several hundred feet in diameter, and it's ringed by mounds of junk on two sides, forming like almost a semicircle around half of it. And then there's like other junk that has been carefully sculpted into bleachers, basically tiers, multiple tiers of seating going almost all the way around the structure. The ring has an arched opening on the westernmost end to allow access to the arena, and all the way across on the eastern side there's a large metallic structure akin to a squat tower protruding from the hard-packed earth, and a wooden stairway wraps around this little tower sides, and on top of the tower is basically a 20-foot tall stage protruding from the side of it, overlooking the arena below. It looks like the arena itself, like the inside of the arena, it's like 400 feet in diameter. It is it's a big battlefield, and I'm gonna pop you over onto the map now. We're not necessarily actually in these physical positions yet that you see yourselves in, but can everybody see the Scrapmaster's
size.
Arena?
Yeah, wow.
Why does
Wow, I can
love
actually
always
see it.
feel like a battlefield?
Man.
I will say, on the approach, it looks like a good number of people have gotten here early. There's all sorts of random people, random junkers and scrappers. Julie's outside. She's selling stuff at her concession stand out on the way in. And, there's Red Tooth and all her raiders taking up one section. And it looks like there's going to be maybe a couple hundred people in this crowd. It's a good-sized thing, but also off to the side, it looks like they're doing some cleanup work from a previous set of bouts, and you see a procession of like 4 bodies being carried out from the chamber behind the arena, like somebody who recently fought in here and didn't make it, and they're sort of being brought out to clear the way, maybe make room in the dead body room. Not for any reason I could think of. It looks like a Vrisian woman with a gun, black hair and a long coat and denim shirt. And, there's a halfling, looks like also a gunslinger. He's blonde. A green-haired gnome. And it looks like a half-elf with dark hair and like armor that's fashioned to look like interlocking gears. And they're all dead. and they're all being sort of hauled out off to points unknown, maybe to be buried or burned in a pyre. But your way is clear.
Asher bustles over to administer rites and remove
These are
the
mine
guns
now.
from the gunslingers to put on his.
You're reading my mind. Just solemnly takes their ammunition and says, "Think, Eldia." No, I would like to imagine that Red Tooth and the Raiders are all like waving these foam half-orc fingers that are covered in glitter, and they're like, "Kira, Kira."
You're selling stuffed scorpions at the
Oh, they
I was going to say Kingsley hats, just little.
Oh man.
and all the hands, they're not holding up one finger for like number one. They're holding up 4 fingers, of course.
Oh, that's good marketing.
that's solid.
That is good marketing. We need to get those for our web store that we'll have.
Right.
4 foam fingers.
Instead of a thunder stick, it's a big Lucerne hammer.
So we're there sort of early. How much time do we have until actual like game time?
I would say you've got like a half hour or so if you wanted to do anything. But people are steadily filing in. We got a mix of humans, orcs, rat folk. Some people you've seen, some obvious gang members, some like leftover smilers, and some just people who happen to be in Scrapwall.
And you mentioned earlier that this crowd would fall into the couple hundreds, so possibly what we would be describing as a large crowd by the performance combat rules.
It seems like it might just be a large crowd.
Right. Solid +3 to all of the DCs that are listed on there. Interesting. Man, I wish it was a medium crowd. 250 gold and a DC 20 diplomacy check by Asher to just... I know I made this joke before, but Arthur Rubinstein, this entire thing would have been really cool. Everyone's like, yes, I love K-Ra.
Oh, Kara.
They are my favorite. Orc?
K-Rod
So
the
many
half
things
elf,
about
yes.
them.
Yeah. I would say like you've made friends with the Steelhawks and Red Tooth's Raiders and Dinvaya. So you definitely have a faction of this crowd on your side, but it doesn't really seem like it's the bulk of the crowd. It sort of seems like you're dealing with a little bit of home field advantage here. And Helskarg is just sitting up on a throne on that stage. Like she has a troll-sized chair, and she's just sitting up there, like waving to the crowd and smiling her tusky grin. I'll just pop her portrait up on the screen for you to see.
Is she a cave troll or whatever those ones are called? The is it a cave troll? The ones that have
Moss troll?
the tusks.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know.
So knowledge
Wow.
local.
Yeah, can we roll a knowledge on her?
Yeah, you
Now
can
that
roll
we see her,
knowledge.
like we did a general troll knowledge, but can we do one on her to see if she's a certain subtype?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that a Loke?
It is indeed local.
That's 19 on my first roll of the night, so hopefully they didn't waste that. Oh my gosh, that's a 20. Yeah, dirty 20, which is,
In total?
again, the highest I've ever rolled on any knowledge ever.
So
Very
solid.
nice. Oh, the 20. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kira's seen trolls before. She's definitely a troll. Doesn't seem to be any, like, exotic or unusual type of troll, but she does seem like she's got some kind of combat training beyond your sort of normal troll out in nature sort of thing. She's got some kind of, mechanically speaking, class levels. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, do you want us to roll another, like, local? I mean, I guess we have an idea of what her class levels are. And we haven't really seen her display any of her, like, features and combats, which usually kind of trigger those rolls. So I redact this part. Boop.
I mean, you know from your previous roll about the regeneration and the weaknesses to acid and fire. You know from the diplomacy that she's got an auto-grapnel, which actually you can see now. She's got an auto-grapnel up there. It's shinier than Asher's. It's a nicer looking auto-grapnel.
Should add that to the our auto grapnel for your auto grapnel. In addition to the other, we're just going to tell you that we killed the heck out of your friend. That's the surprise. You win. But they aren't even going to get that because you're going to win. Remember, that's like a full round thing, right? Grapnelling.
Slow firing.
That's what it's called. Slow firing. Take it easy. It's for all the Gen Z and younger that love Foghat that listen to this podcast.
Oh boy. Got a few subs right there.
Well, yeah, I think once it gets closest to about, I don't know, 15 or so minutes before actual combat, I think that's when we're going to start layering on some of the juice in our corner, that is.
All right, and I'll sort of pop you over, give you a little ringside area over
Oh my gosh,
here.
everyone's so little.
Yeah, you got to zoom way out to see anything. You've all sort of got a little corner here, let's say tucked under Jimmy Fame's commentator booth, where he's got a tower he sits up on so everybody can see him, hear his just... I don't even have words to describe the beauty of his voice. His dulcet tones, that's what I was looking for and failing to find.
Is he going to be the one giving a thumbs up, thumbs down at the end of the movie?
Probably. He's the Commodus.
Might I recommend you pregame a Borscht Bravery Gutube, the hometown favorite flavor of the city of Torch.
Yeah, I was going to say that all I can give you is thoughts and prayers, but, you know, that's my favorite flavor of Gutube as well, so you could just always do both of them, the Borscht and the thoughts and the prayers. I should probably start casting magic on you at this
That
point.
would be preferable, thank you. But she will take out, I guess, the 3 thoughts, prayers, and torch, borch, and just tuck them in a pocket. I'm like, all right, there we go. I did it. Thanks.
Ah, yes, gotta warm it up against your body temperature.
Kira taps out,
excellent
so
fun.
the Asher can fight. She's taken the nauseated condition, and I'm just going to take a nap.
All right, I've been waiting for this, Hellscar.
Yeah, she just flops like a soccer player real quick, just grabbing her knee like, oh!
All right, well, I suppose it's time to get this show on the road, yeah?
He, like, looking through his spell components pouch, which has kind of got a lot of stuff going on in there at this point, fishes out what looks like this broken kind of piece. It almost looks like tile, but then you kind of look closer at it, especially if you have like a rank in knowledge nature, you're like, oh, that's a tortoise shell. I was going to say,
First, let's make it that when you do get hit, you feel less of it.
and with that, he will cast protection from arrows. That's 5 hours, where you're going to have... you get a resistance to ranged weapon attacks. Every time you get hit by one, you have 10/magic DR against that.
Got it, okay.
With
Like
a health
5
pool
times.
of 50 points. 5 hours or 50 points of damage, 10 out of each one, unless she has a magic weapon. Obviously, that can overcome it.
But this is a start. And then let's just hope maybe you don't get hit at all in the first place, eh?
And he flicks up Asher's bullet into the air, and by the time it comes down, it doesn't come down, it's gone. And you now have bullet shield, which means you have a +5 deflection bonus to your AC against firearms and ranged attacks. It's going to last for 50 minutes. This applies to all sorts of bullet firearm attacks. It's +4 base, but because I also have 5 caster levels, it makes it 5. So that won't stack with your Ring of Protection, but that gives you a +5 deflection bonus against this stuff. And then I think the rest of everything else is in the 5-minute mark. So I don't know how you want to play that, Sam, if you want to do some other stuff before we get into there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can basically operate under the assumption that you cast those at the last possible minute, basically.
So I think as part of this getting ready, Kira's just sort of standing there and like almost like just a daze, just staring at, I have forgotten her name and I shouldn't because we have to fight
Hellscar?
Yep. And she has in her hands the sky metal dagger that she took, but Parta's family gave her, and just like playing with it. She's kind of like, toying around in her hand until she like nicks herself and kind of realizes where she is and puts it away, and then turns and looks at everyone else like, I don't have to kill her, right? We're just gonna rough each other up a little bit. Because she doesn't seem nice, but she doesn't seem like she should be dead.
Yes, I think actually by the rules that were set out for us by Jimmy, you actually would most likely lose if you killed her. I believe the fight is simply until one party surrenders or is knocked unconscious.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Good for us. Yay.
And honestly,
and I'm going to just base this off of the 21 local check that I rolled earlier on Trolls.
I have a feeling that defeating her inside Scrapmaster's arena in front of everybody here is a fate worse than death for someone that looks like that.
He just kind of glowers up at this grandeur and glorification of violence. And so, yeah, that's all he's doing, just glowering.
Well, I think as we're getting close to fight time and the stands are looking pretty full, and I think there's people standing in some of the corridors and stuff because maybe there wasn't enough room, or sort of gang affiliations have prevented certain people from taking otherwise open spaces. Jimmy Fame kind of leans over the side of his tower down to you and says,
Hey, Jimmy Fame, you guys ready? Jimmy Fame.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we're ready.
All right. Well, I talked to Golgara, and she's good with having a meeting, Jimmy Fame. If you win, and if you lose, you got to tell her everything you know about Mayanda, Jimmy Fame. So, yeah, everybody's happy. Everybody's good.
Kira just nods.
All right. I'm gonna need you to head down to the west side of the arena over there in the sort of directly opposite our friend Hellskog, Jimmy Fame, and then we can get this show on the road. He
does the double snap finger guns.
Yeah. I think because you can it actually has a range of close and not touch, that Vargas is actually going to cast Enlarge Person on her as she's walking over. Because it's got 20 feet plus 5 feet per level, so he can actually cast it from 50 feet away. And so as she walks out, I imagine she just starts growing bigger with each step.
She's just gonna really subtly, as this happens, reach into her other pocket and take out a handful of pocket glitter and just kind of throw it in front of her, and then pretend she didn't. Just oh my gosh, look, I'm magically enlarged and glittery. Ooh, spooky. And I'm running through my checklist to make sure I have all the things marked. So that's all out of character stuff.
So yeah, I guess as we're starting to lay on those kind of closer buffs, Vargas reaches out and Kira, after 6 or so seconds, just explodes up, and then Brix doesn't grab anything from his pouch and just speaks a word and moves his hands and touches Kira, and you feel a lot faster. I just cast Expeditious Retreat on you, and
yeah, just don't forget to use that scroll right before you go on in. And maybe do the trick. Might help.
She's already just before she turns and goes, she'll turn around and just give him a thumbs up. You've done enough time to I'm gonna do the thing. Holds out a hand in front of her. All of her tattoos start to glow like a fuchsia. She shields up, and enlarged shield. I have blur checked, but that's a thing I have to remember. Let's see. Are there other things that it makes sense to add here? It sounds like a lot of this would be faster just to sort of recall. Expeditious Retreat isn't going to be super helpful to add in. There's a plug.
Just shield and enlarged person are the ones that are going to affect any of your numbers. Long arm, Expeditious Retreat, and blur will be things that you have to remember. And
don't forget about the fast healing if you're raging.
I wrote that down on a post-it note because that one I will forget about.
I don't envy all of the things you have to keep track of right now, and I play a wizard. Like, this seems stressful to me, but you've got it.
Well, I'm assuming that you all will remember all of the things that I don't. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're pit crew.
The biggest thing I think that's going to be the most helpful is the fact that you're now large-sized with long arms, which means your natural reach, I think, is 20 feet.
So... And then if I use what's it called, it's an extra 5. So that's going to be 10 feet enlarged. Long arm is going to be 15. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, 20 feet with stabby pointy. Is that right?
Oh, wait, no, it would actually still only be 15. I was thinking it
20
doubles
with
whatever
all
your reach
things.
is, but it just adds 5 feet to it.
Yeah.
So your reach would... Yeah.
Oh, what happens
hammer, it'd be 20.
To a D12 if I don't have the gravity clip on it, and I'm not going to have time to change it, so never mind.
Oh, but you do have, because you're big, your damage goes up.
Okay, the only other thing that I will definitely forget about and shouldn't is power attack, because there's no reason not to use that all the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, man. I got the willies. I'm so nervous, ready, and excited for it to start.
I know. We are getting real close to that
episode.
hour. Which I will use to cast. Yeah, I just did shield. What's the one on the scroll is long arm? Cool. I'll also do that. So much reaching.
And don't forget Magic Vestment.
Yep, Magic Vestment is on.
So as Kira steps into her designated corner, a sort of hush falls over the crowd as Jimmy Fame takes his place up on his pedestal, and he starts calling out, and his voice is familiar, but it's projected by either some magical or technological means, seems to be coming from all through the stands. And he goes,
Humans and halflings, androids and cryptids, scrappers of all ages, Jimmy Fame Sports Entertainment Incorporated proudly brings to you an exhibition match the likes of which have never been seen. In the red corner, we have a relative newcomer to Scrapwell, but a big bad daddy in her own right. Give it up for Kira, insert cool nickname here, Smith, of the very capable four.
Just toss another handful of glitter out there.
and the crowd cheers.
Yeah, Kira.
And in the blue corner, you know her, you love her, but most of all, you fear her, Jimmy. The jaws and claws that inspire Oz, the troll who's always on a roll, the Lord of Rust who grinds her opponents to dust, the super heavyweight champion of Scrapple! Put your most dexterous appendages together for Hellscar!
And Hellscar jumps down off of her pedestal to the ground below. With
1d6 falling damage.
I was going to say, and then takes falling damage.
No,
Make an acrobatics check, she's prone.
This is a practice maneuver. And she gives a huge, toothy, tusky grin and brandishes her shining auto grapnel up in the air with one hand. She stomps on the sand like a sumo wrestler and throws her free hand up in the air, and the crowd just goes absolutely nuts. Definitely seems like
She didn't have any glitter.
she didn't have any glitter, but it does definitely seem like she's a hometown favorite here. And Jimmy Fame comes back on and he says,
This is a one-on-one exhibition match. It's scheduled for one fall, and the emphasis is on fall. All attacks will be non-lethal. First fighter to knock the other out or draw submission wins. Everyone! Jimmy Fame, get prepared for rounds!
We drop into slow motion here because it's a dramatic moment, and dramatic moments require slow motion. As the bell is about to ring, we're just going to take a quick trip around the table, see what everyone's thinking, and we're going to start in the red corner. What is Kira thinking in this moment?
I think Kira is thinking of her mom, her adoptive mother, but also her biological mother, kind of standing there, like, staring at all these people, and there's like a second of excitement, just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I can't believe I'm here, I'm gonna fight things, and then as she looks at Hellscar jump down, has this realization, I'm going to fight this person for the entertainment of this crowd that I don't know, and is almost taken aback by this sudden sense of rage. Like, she has no memory, or mostly no memory, of her biological mother, but is suddenly sort of like, this is kind of messed up, and I don't like it, and this is bad and dumb and angry. And, well, with that sensation of anger and, like, justice, almost a vengeful sort of thing, like, all of the anxiety and the fear is just gone. Instead, she's like, I'm gonna censor up, and like enters full rage, and gives this like carnal kind of scream thing, and then, you know, in slow motion waits for everyone else to go.
Performance combat check.
Not yet.
I'm ready.
Just saying. So excited.
And how about, what is Brixby thinking at this moment?
It's like hot and dusty, but like not where Brixby's at right now. It is humid. It's hot. It is claustrophobically comfortable, though. He is back in the tunnels of Chitterhome, and he's on that stoop, or he's on that area with his brother in the stoop and his father and dragging, and the rest just kind of comes in flashes, right? It's just Brixby being dragged by Nade into the throng of the crowd, and kind of this half-broken foe deciding to follow, and this kind of jumbling body feeling this weird mass almost just throbbing around them like it was alive. And the older man finding and confronting the two teenage boys that had jumped his sons, proposing a rematch and pushing Brixby forward. And the circle that just kind of opens up against the natural rhythm of the swarm as the two boys just start to bear down on Brixby. And the rusty odor of letting blood and the sound of like ripping fur. And Nade's laugh, which has this kind of like wheedling, wormy, burrowing into your mind sound that kind of raised your sick. And like Brixby's frenetic, clumsy parrying against these knives, these big boys as they start to kind of work against this unfamiliar tailblade and get into flank. And more of that wormy laugh and that pulsing of the crowd starts to become more distinct, and he's just awash in like a thick nausea. And the torchlights start to lose focus, and his body starts to swimming, and he's here. He's here. He's back. He is snapped back, and he is focused on Kira. And everything that just kind of raised up in him, the silt, the emotional silt that's been dredged up by the root chalic, and watching all of this death happen, he just, the first time in weeks, just truly pushes it behind him and looks at the young half-orc in front of him. He smiles, a 2V smile, defiantly.
How about what's going through Asher's head?
Asher is looking at Kira, and he looks over at Helskarg, and he remembers the dinner with the Smiths and how excited Kira was to say, oh yeah, like I got this sword, and shakes and like cut into the ceiling of her home, just pulling it off. Like he sees her, and he sees her raging, but he just keeps thinking in his mind, despite all of her power, she is a kid, and this just feels unfair to him that she's in this situation, even though she volunteered. And he thinks, to her, trying to teach him these games, and we're all having these moments. Asher's making ammo, and Fargus is ripping his arm off, and Kira is bedazzling her sword. Like she's, he doesn't understand why she prefers Joanne's over Michael's, the superior chain of craft stores, but he knows she's good, and he's just praying to Caldera that whatever magic he imparted would be useful. He's used to her blocking his shots. He's used to trying to figure out how to work together as a team with his companions, but he's not accustomed to this one-on-one gladiatorial combat, and so he feels helpless in that regard. that all he can do is stand there on the sidelines with his foam 4 half-work finger, and he's just praying to Caldera that at the end of the day he can learn whatever this new game is with his friend.
And Vargas. What's going on in Vargas's head?
I think that he is partway between still thinking of just a lot of times in his past, probably more than is really healthy, that he's basically made the decision that has led to people Kira's age and younger having really awful things happen to them. And he's hoping he's not making that same mistake again. And he's partly thinking that, but he's also partly thinking what's going to happen when they win and get this face-to-face with the leader of the Lords of Rust, and what exactly they're going to need to say and do when that happens. And he's starting to wonder how good of an idea it was to burn so many of their spells and abilities buffing Kira up for this fight. But he also knows that without that it would be horribly unfair to send her in against a troll. But he thinks she's got a real chance to win. He has seen how she fights and he thinks she's gonna do this. So he's not super worried, but he is still just kind of got that nagging worry that he's slipping back into stuff he had hoped he left behind.
Okay, well, we pass out of slow motion. The bell rings. We go into initiative. So let's start with a rather important roll here. Izzy, what does Kira get for initiative?
Briefly turned myself down. Definitely thought that was a 1 and was like, well, I give up now. But no, that's a 9, which is still not great. Plus 5, 14.
Alright, 14. Well, Hellscarg is not the fastest knife in the drawer. So you're going to be going first.
Right now, we're just getting right into it.
We are jumping in to performance combat. Let's do this thing.
Well, let's see. She has that thing, so I'm not going to get too close. But I do have a sense of what I want to do, which does require being able to hit her. How far can I move? Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. New question. How far can I move as a giant person? Still 30. Great.
Yeah, no, I think it's... Does rage increase your speed
it does, but it's slowed because of armor things. So, like, I break even at 30.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can move 60 around then.
Well, if you run as a straight line, you can do quadruple speed, depending on your armor. You're only 225 feet or so away from her, so just like dimensional slide.
Yeah, honestly, that means you could get all the way up there in a run action while she has it. If we're doing quad speed, if you can,
Yeah.
you can do it.
It should still be 100 feet away. If she does 120 and
Yeah, so let's see. If I do 120, that's going to put me here. Can you see what I'm doing? If we do quadruple?
Wait, why would it be 120?
Well, 120 is a double move with the Expeditious Retreat, right?
Yeah, no, I was saying double. Jeff was saying run action. Run action would be 4 times and would get her up there. Is what I.
Yeah,
that's
with
what
run
I was.
action, you can go all the way across the arena.
Yeah, you can literally get beside her with a run action because you can do 240.
and then if she shoots,
There.
that'll provoke.
But
So?
you will be flat-footed for that turn, as per the rules for the run.
That is true.
Provoke, crit, 1 hit, unconscious.
But yeah, can't provoke while flat-footed though. So Kira will lose her ability to. So I don't know. I mean, not to, hands off the chess piece. I'm sorry. I mean,
yeah,
it's
but
your run.
Shit it
hands
up.
back on chess piece? I am only sort of guessing at this. Technically, you can't say anything, but if you're using your second turn to be like, hey, do this, I will listen.
Shit. Do we know autographnal? Is that long range?
I'm sure Asher would know
It's
autograph.
30 feet.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Use that to your. I would say maybe just double move. Make them move up to you.
But is hers a large-sized autographnal? Would that...
Looks the same size as Asher's.
It is the same size? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking double move, and with Expeditious Retreat, is that... Okay. That's so double all of the things.
120.
120.
Yep, so Kira will start then just to the, like, she's standing there as we move back into what's opposite of bullet time, like a Kira time. And like just gives this like carnal sort of roar and will just double move forward. She will do it as she's taking, as she's pulling out Ethel, and again, other hand, pocket glitter. But if there's a way I can make the pocket glitter intimidating, I would love to do that.
Speaking of which, because you entered a rage, you get a
that's
free
right.
or immediate action, because you didn't even have to be on your turn. Because it's
Totally
free
gonna make a
immediate
performance
action. You
combat
can
check.
Performance combat check.
Once
if
I remember how
you
to-
choose. So,
120 feet. It's gonna go so well. 120 is here. And I'm just gonna drop this over here-ish. Okay, there's a way to measure that I should know because you've been doing this for a year. It's fine. 120 feet running, and I will do that performance combat check. Which is, I think, Zach Heflo put together +3 with charisma and BAB. Oh no, that's a 2.
and a +2 to your
So
weapon, so
+7
+5.
on a first. So glitter is not intimidating. It's just it gets in her eye. And, ow, 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 ow.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That is rough.
Yeah.
Start off with an unfriendly crowd, and I think fail by
Put
more than
this dice
5.
away.
Yeah, I think you get some booze
This is
there.
fine. This is fine.
Oh no.
Just gonna get the new
They're
D20
hostile.
out and use that one
They're
instead.
hostile.
I think we finished.
Yeah.
Any other?
I mean, I can't. That's a double move. I don't have any. Yeah, because the grenade is going to be in that hole. That's a full action to like do things with it. Yeah. So yeah, that's my turn. Oh, this is going so well.
Yeah, with Hellsguard's turn, she's looks like she's taking her time. She's got her eyes locked directly on Kira, and she just walks out kind of at an angle, like she's circling around. And she's got the auto grapnel in one hand and vicious claws in the other. And that's all she does is a single move, perhaps a readied action. Kira's back up. It's round 2. You're not losing.
Not technically.
It's perfect. She's going to stall for 50 rounds and wait out all your buffs.
Gosh, you know what? No, I feel like I'm going to regret this, but I also think it's a Kira thing. She's going to close the rest of that and attempt to kind of recoup some of the hostility there. We're just gonna go into a charge, which gives me 60 feet, right? So I can move like right up to her.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because actually, yeah, she's 70 feet away. My bad.
When you could charge 120 because of Expeditious Retreat, so you have plenty of movement. But you also have reach for days.
Right into the stands. Let's start aggroing everybody.
Right.
But yeah, that is true. Do remember that you have reach.
You could be 20 feet away with Lucy.
So Jeff brings up a great point. You can stop 20 feet away.
I'm gonna stop 15 feet away because I'm gonna start with Ethel. But yeah. So here we go, moving again. There's a way to do this. I really should have picked it up before. I can't see squares, so I'm gonna say 5, 10, 15. And that'll put me 60 feet there. Here we go. This is going great. I'm so excited doing this. So I'm gonna make that charge as Kira recovers from this other turn, having just like rubbed a bunch of glitter into one eye. Real determined to make up for that, and goes for the charge. So that is adds 2 to my attack, -1 or 2 for AC. 2, -2. Great. Okay, I need this to be better. And then because I need to recover, I'm going to go ahead and toss 1 sky metal at this because I need this to work better than the last one. Please. Oh, that's much better. That's 17 on the die, +4, +2, +10. That's good. I should have this down. We call it a hit. 17 plus 12 is going to be regular with rage. Plus 4.
Sounds
Great.
like
Okay,
a
great. Cool. Damage 3d6 as previously mentioned. Charge increases hit, not damage, right?
Right.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, just
2, 7, 8 plus 16. 24.
Wow. And she looks genuinely surprised by that hit, both by the huge damage there and by the fact that you could hit her from so far away. basically, because you see she's got a claw sort of reared back like she was waiting for you to step into her range to swipe at you right when you got there.
And then I think because, right, correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, charge is also one of the things that triggers a performance combat check, so I'm going to use, like, her, I don't know, looking surprised. It's just a quick excuse to taunt, and it's going to be just the most childish taunt. Literally, like, just stick her tongue out in an intimidating way. Go ahead.
Brix is throwing a sky medal on this one. This specific performance combat roll, because it's incredibly important
mine too.
that she
Did I do
picks
that
it.
already?
And it's kind of a hard one. So, take it off the board.
I didn't.
Gotta get new dice. Okay, that's 6 plus 5, 11 plus 4? Yeah, 15 total.
Plus 4 for the sky medal. And then did you get the plus 2 for
So I rolled a 6.
performance weapon and plus 2 for it being
6 plus 5,
a two-hand
11
weapon?
plus 4, 15.
But you counted for the bonus for it being a two-handed weapon and the bonus for it being a performance weapon.
I did not. Oh, wait, on that
Oh,
one,
the
no, I
bonus is only if she
Oh.
deals max damage.
No.
Did you deal max damage? That's very bad. I don't mean to say that so straightforward, but that is...
We're not allowed to stack sky medals since we haven't heard yet whether it's
Do
a
it.
success or not.
No.
Do it. If you can
add another 4 on there,
please, can Jaro throw a sky medal on this? You haven't said anything. Jaro hasn't looked at the PDF I made.
Performance combat thing.
That counts as not knowing what the result is. So I
Oh,
have
the
never
results listed
heard
on that
of
thing?
a
I
no
was
just
sky
making up
medal
rules left and right,
stacking
fam.
rule.
That's true.
This seems very late in the game to come up with.
Wow. I see how it is.
Also, I almost just now accidentally clicked... not even accidentally. I almost right now just clicked over to the thing when you said, oh yeah, the DCs are on there. I almost clicked over to check.
Yeah, no. Jaro doesn't know.
Which would have ruined this.
Fine, just
And
this
you
once.
wanted us to spend
just
sky
this
medals.
once. You can spend the double sky medal. That brings it to a total of 19.
Wait, what?
It's a fail, but you don't lose everything.
I don't think I want to know.
Yeah, if 15 was actually what you had rolled, you would have lost performance combat straight.
Oh, fuck, that's right. I remember that. Okay,
If
great.
the crowd is already hostile. So
Hostile. All right. so
losing
one of
by
these
less
has
than
4.
5 just
DC
means
20.
you're staying right at the hostile thing.
Great, good.
So
good,
that is
yeah.
why we're going to continue to throw sky medals at your performance combat rolls, because those are very important.
Okay. Ooh, forgot about the performance part of the combat. Really great. All right. Well, that's a fail, but not a total fail. Oh no.
Oh, I was wrong. The DC is actually even higher because I forgot it's a large crowd. So the
23.
DCs all add 3 to
This is
those
a 23.
that are on the board.
Oh man.
So that's DC.
Yikes.
20.
That's
All right. Wait, I have a plus? No, I have a plus 5. It's like, nothing possible, but okay. Just very, very difficult.
It's not great.
I mean, look, we can still
I
bribe
need
the
to.
crowd if we want to
we
drop
have 750
gold and succeed. Like, I don't even know if we do.
Oh, I have to check.
Jiro's still off.
So the 3 of us are gonna go kill some ghosts, find some gold, come back, bribe the crowd with it.
Vargas think I've got a junk robot.
Yep, that's my turn.
All right. Well, you landed a good blow on Hellsguard, but she looks like she's healing right back up. She's gonna take a 5-foot step back, aim that auto grapnel right at you, and take a shot. That's not great. That is 18 versus touch.
18? Oh no, that's still gonna hit. This is going so poorly. We're like so early in the combat. None of this is going like I expected.
I was so confident.
Well, you did do 24 damage in one shot.
Yeah, the damage was never the part I was worried about. I'm not concerned about that.
That is 9 damage from the magical +1 medium auto grapnel.
Oh,
And I believe she gets a free attempt to grapple.
Yeah, it does sound right.
Let's see here.
The MD's got to be through the roof, though, right?
The CMD It's a plus 16, I believe, to attempt to grapple you as the spike sticks into Kira. Yeah, that is an 18 on the die, so we're looking at a 34 to grapple.
And I roll my CMD, right?
You don't have to roll, it's just what's your CMD.
Oh, it just does that, okay. It's a solid 22. This is going so poorly. Not at all how I anticipated.
Well, you grappled, you got by a spike lodged into you. The crowd doesn't like you. And,
this feels like middle school. Like I'm getting really strong, just middle school fight vibes. And I don't love it.
I'm going to bed.
Bed bugs, Sam. That's what I hope comes for you.
Harsh.
Good night, Sam.
Kidding. Sleep well.
Night, Sam.
Sleep so good. Night, Sam.
Odds against the machine. Against the machine.
Hot Against the Machine is property of its creators, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are properties of Paizo Publishing. Please visit them at paizo.com for more information. Theme Against the Machine, written and performed by our own Zach. Please consult the show notes for additional music and sound effect licensing information.
Yeah, don't try and pivot our Dwayne The Rock Johnson podcast into an ICP podcast.
Listen, they were contemporaneous in the WWF.
Well, apparently there's overlap.
I remember when it was an F.
Yeah, WWF just stands for whoop whoop F. I don't know. You guys don't know enough about juggalos to know that they say whoop whoop, I guess. But anyway, that's my joke. All right.
I'm a juggalo, J, yay, yay.
Dude, the Juggalo stuff is close enough to the clap now that it's going to make it in.
Nice. Sorry, Canada. It's actually not Calgary.
It's Calgary.
Calgary? Yes.
Which is exactly like
Sounds
Calgary,
a lot
except
more
everybody has
metal.
those cool spinny blades.
I don't have a lot of arcane. Well, stop. I can't do anything on the first try. Beep. I don't have much of the way in magical offerings to offer. Beep. No, third try. Beep.
We got this one.
I can feel it.
I don't have. No. Beep. Give it up. Lip. Zip. Beep. Fourth feels real good.
That one didn't
Feels
count.
real good. Beep.
So also cut this part out. Cut it out.